take a couple of minutes. And very informative.
You see all those lovely products out there? All those wonderful products that help everybody so much. We all know about them. We come back every year and we look at them. Well, this might be the last time you see them. And if you think I'm kidding, well, just wait a few months, you'll find out.
Unless we stand up and be counted.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. But first of all, let me scare the living bejesus out of these people, because they're not all thinking like you.
No, I know.
The thing is this. We have enough of a draconian modality going on in this country to strip our shelves bare of a lot of the products that we all know and love and rely on a daily basis, products that actually do save lives, products that have never stacked up bodies, unlike the pharmaceutical products. We have a lot of these things going on for us right now, but they are about to be taken away from us. They are being taken away from us because Health Canada has set them up under guidelines by which they must have an applied for number by the end of February, or they're out of luck. That's it. If you go through what's out on the shelves, out in this show right now, I can guarantee you that more than half of the products out there do not have these numbers. And because they don't have these numbers, the 126 new inspectors being hired by Health Canada right now are going to be going with their budget rent-a-car vans and pulling up in front of health food stores and clinics across the country and hauling out boxes of product and finishing our businesses. And you know what? That's not the biggest threat. Because all of the people who have paid through the nose to get their products licensed with NPNs and deemed numbers, which means you can sell it until we prove it bad, all of these products will be allowed after February. Yes, they will. However, with the CETA agreement and with the backdoor clause in Bill C-36, which allows, and in fact, under Black's law, the word may actually means must or shall. See, they don't use Webster's. They use Black's law. And when it says may, it means must or shall. Take direction from foreign governments. Well, which foreign governments, precisely? Well, these foreign governments can include, as Sean mentioned earlier, trade groups like NAFTA, the World Trade Organization, the UN, the WHO. Okay? All of these are okayed under this backdoor clause. Then on top of that, there's this lovely trade agreement called the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement with the European Union that has been, believe it or not, under negotiation for more than 10 years. They never told us about it till this year. Why? Because it lets them tell us what to do from the top down, federal, provincial, and municipal, all the way across. CUPE is upset about it. CUPW is upset about it. They want to privatize the post office. They want to take over our water utilities. They want to take over our resources, and most particularly, they want the EU food safety. Notice the word safety. Safety is what they take away your rights on. That's the word. S-510 in the States, Senate Bill 510, has a backdoor clause just like C-36, as Attorney Jonathan Emord has pointed out very ably. So C-36 and S-510, essentially, although they seem different, one is the Canada Consumer Product Safety Act, the other is the Food Safety Modernization Act. And the European directives, the European Food Safety Directives. Do you see the writing on the wall?
Yes.
Okay, now while we are in a bad enough state here, as it sits, as Sean has so ably pointed out to you, everything that he said is bang on. But it's not the end for Health Canada. They're going on farther over the top with the EU food safety directives that could be, with the adoption of CETA, immediately just slammed in on us. They can get us without C-36. But they like to have the justification to say, well, we told you about that. Where were you when we put it out in this bill? Or where were you when we talked about it before? We told you. We hid it in plain sight. That's what they like to do. They also like to boil a frog slowly. So while we were thinking, oh, Codex is the big threat. We've been going for 15 years now, people talking about Codex being the big threat. In the meantime, in the back door, here comes the EU food safety directives that have been in force since 2005, are active now, and are on their way, on a slow boat maybe, but they're on their way to Canada, and they will beat Codex to the shore. So we have a lot to fight. Now, the NHPPA has put out a 3-point program, as Sean has pointed out. It's a great program. It needs to be supported. We're not kidding here. It needs to be supported. Because unless you speak up, what's his voice? What's my voice? For all we know, they could shoot us tomorrow. And then what? You're going to sit there? What are you going to do?
Why do you think they took our gun rights away?
You got that right, although we never really wanted them. We could have fought for them. There's a lot of things in this country we could have had if we'd fought for them. We don't fight for them. And as Sean says, your wife is not right on that. You've got to say, get off your ass. Or you've got to say, as David Icke says, get off your knees. Who works for whom here? Who do your MPs serve? Do they serve pharma? Do they serve you? Make sure they know and fire them if they don't.
Yes.
Pay attention to these trade agreements, because these things, as the Prime Minister himself said after the G20, and they were talking about how the trade group of the G20, that's a trade group, okay? Economic policy, trade group. And he said that Canada, who successfully, he said, skated through the recession, ha ha ha. Not for him, that's fine. For the rest of us, I don't know, not so much. But the point is, he said, and I quote, I know some people don't like it, and it is a loss of sovereignty, but it's a simple reality of life. Really? Not on my planet. In my planet, I live in Canada. I was born here. I love this place. It was free last time I looked. And you know what? We outnumber them.
Yeah.
And as Roy Rogers once said, no man on earth can stop a stampede. And I say to you, it only takes one to start one. Woo! Sean?
Now, we do have a mic there if anyone has any questions. Oh, just hang on, we've got a mic so that everyone will be able to hear your questions.
I'm not sure if this is true or not, but the Charter of Health and Freedom is supported by the senators. Why not the MPs, and how is this a democracy? There seems to be a division between the senators and the MPs. The senators, of course, they support.
Yeah, no, this is a good question, and it's interesting, like, because in the House of Commons, every party supported this Consumer Product Safety Act. Like, every party supported it, and they supported it last time too. Like this, so this went to the Senate before the Olympics. And the Senate actually, but the Liberal senators were concerned. And in the Senate debates when it was Bill C-6, I mean, you could be reading U.S. debates of the Founding Fathers. They're talking about rights. They're talking about the rule of law. So these are Canadian senators basically saying this is a dangerous bill. And so the Senate amended it and sent it back to the House of Commons. And then our Prime Minister prorogued for the Olympics, and so they had to try and pass it again. But after he prorogued, he appointed some more senators to try and get the number of conservatives up. And what's troubling me is we have a divide in the Senate between conservatives and liberals. And some of you say, well, Why is that troubling you?